Hello everybody, welcome back to our tutorial series. Today we're going to be covering the mysterious statues that you find in the zones. I'm not going to number this tutorial because it could just kind of fall in anywhere that it falls in. Alright, first thing up, the statues can only be used one time, so make your choice wisely. Now, if you're really not sure what to do with the statue, once you discover it, it will make a sound that goes and then it will be available. Number two, you don't have to immediately use the statue when you discover it. The discovery process is the first part. The statue can stay there as long as you want to leave it there. So if you want to come back to this statue later, you can do so. Let's say you have a build that you now know, that you realize that you have an epiphany about, and now you want to make a build using powers in the statue. That's okay, you can totally do that. Alright? So, next step. When you finally decide to choose the powers in the statue, you're going to get a choice of 3. At this point, you cannot go back. You have to choose which one of these 3 powers you want. And each power is distinct and original, and it's going to help your build, or it will do nothing. But it's going to do something of some positive nature. Now, for some of you who are Minimaxers, you're going to want to be really careful about exactly what skill you choose. You may not get access to that skill again. Number 4, be aware that if you already have that skill, if you've already gained that skill will not be available to you. It will say already known, something to that effect, okay? Also keep in mind, grabbing these skills is really probably a good thing to do because you can save yourself choosing these skills in your skill talent tree. You don't always find these in your skill talent tree, but you can find them in many instances. Number 6, keep in mind that these skills are a great way to get a free skill without having to spend a lot of skill points on expensive skills. So these are a freebie. They are free. Yes, they are free. There are no monsters to fight. Usually in most RPGs, when you find a really cool skill out there, you usually have to fight a pretty nasty monster, but you don't have to do so in this case. Alright. Now I'm going to walk you through what it looks like once you've opened up the screen. First of all, you're going to get a presentation loot box. So there's going to be shiny rectangular box with spotlights shining on the screen. There's going to be very extremely well written information about the item. It's going to tell you what the items are, and you're going to have 3 separate boxes that you can choose. You can read each box for each skill and decide if you want it or you want to cancel and look at the others. You can go back and forth and look through all the boxes. Now, I want to offer a little caution to be on the safe side before you uninstall anything, do something weird, take a phone call, maybe engage in some other video games, other apps and things like that. I would suggest you complete the process of selecting your skill. Now, if you decide, hey, I want to be cheeky, I want to cancel this and go make sure I got the right particular skill set and build, that may not be a good idea. You might exhaust the use of this statue. So my thing is, don't forget, you can always play another character and just go back and do something a little bit different. This game wasn't designed for you to be completely perfect. You can always play the same class with different specs, different races, different professions, alright? So complete the process when you get the statue prompts. Okay, now let's check out what the cleric has on offer for its 3 prompts. Now remember, this is my second statue. The first statue can be found on the 3rd floor in the Vile Whittle's Den. And that's a giant spider who keeps summoning a bunch of tiny spiders. She's not particularly difficult, but you can find the first statue in that room. This is the second statue, and I'm very sure there's a 3rd statue coming up very soon, but I haven't found it yet. Alright, so let's go ahead and see our 3 choices as a cleric.
Choose a power. Dim. Button. Heading.
Okay, let me turn up my I can't hear it.
Rewards view background. Choose a power. Dim. Choose one. Dim. Resisted anger. Button.
Okay, the first choice I have is resisted anger.
Holy vision. Button.
The second choice I have is holy vision.
Essence drain. Button.
The third choice I have is essence drain. These are all good powers. It's really up to your build if they're going to be what you want to choose. Alright, so now that you have the three choices, you can use your swipe from left to right, right to left to move between the choices. You're going to want to double tap on the one you want to check out. Let's check out the first one.
Holy vision. Resisted anger. Choose one. Dim. Resisted anger. Button.
First we have resisted anger. I'm going to double tap.
Resisted anger. Resisted anger description. A passive skill that increases your intelligence by 2 every time a spell is resisted.
Okay, when you hear that blah, that doesn't mean you chose it. That just means you're looking into the skill, okay? Now, read the description. In this case, when enemies resist my spells, or I think it's
Resisted anger description. A passive skill that increases your intelligence by 2 every time a spell is resisted.
Okay, when enemies resist my spell, they're just hurting themselves because I get stronger. This is a great skill to use against bosses. This is a great scaling skill. This is a great defense plus offensive skill. Alright, if I want to get this skill, you're going to swipe to your right.
Type, passive. Storm cost 0, SP cost, choose skill, button.
And select and double tap on choose skill. Once you are on the thing, the choice, in this case choose skill, you're going to double tap and there's no going back. You're going to choose skill. Now what if I don't want this skill and I want to look at some of the other skills? Swipe to your right again.
Cancel, button.
And you're going to hear the cancel button. Then double tap on the cancel button and you will come back out to your three choices. Alright, we're going to do that. We're going to cancel because we're not going to choose this yet.
Choose a power, dim, button, heading.
Now you're going to be back on choose a power. Also keep in mind when you hear dimmed, that's just to make sure you're not trying to double tap on those buttons. Those are just ways to dead end just irrelevant lines so you don't spend a bunch of time saying, whoa, what, I can hit this button but it won't do anything. No. When it's a really helpful thing by developers when they dim out lines that don't have any functionality. That helps you to be able to know what buttons you can hit. Alright? Now let's go check out the next choice.
Choose one, dim, resisted anger, button, holy vision, button.
Let's check out holy vision and let's double tap on holy vision.
Holy vision description. A passive skill that allows you to view full enemy stats during battle and grants 1 luck.
Okay, as you heard again, you got that delightful sound, and it immediately reads out a description of it. Now, if the description is moving too fast, you can adjust your rotor speaking rate for voiceover and lower it down. You can also go into character or word navigation if you want to exactly hear everything that the formula has. I'm not going to go into each formula because that's not kind of what we're doing. But I'm going to let you hear it so you can rewatch the video as many times as you want to kind of know what the formula is. And this is kind of a gift to you because let's say you get to these skills. If you watched my videos, listened to my videos, and written down and made some notes, you know what to expect. And you can even design a build. Now, I've got to throw out another caution, which is going to be our second caution. Not every time will these statues have the same. Not every time will these statues have the same formulas. There's always balancing, there's buffs, there's nerfs. Okay? Alright, not every class is also going to be offered the same skills. So that's your second caution. Alright, let's check out what this one does.
Holy vision. Holy vision description. A passive skill that allows you to view full enemy stats during battle and grants 1 luck.
Alright, this is the first one that gives us a permanent +1 luck. Again, I tend to like permanent skills or passive skills. I don't like skills that are buffs because you can only have, I do believe, 6 skills on your skill bar when you go into battle. You can't, too many skills becomes a problem because if you do manage to find a really powerful skill later on down the road, you've got to make space for it on your skill bar. And I need every skill on my skill bar. So I usually prefer skills that are permanent or passive. Alright? Now, let's say I really wanted this skill. Let's get into what happens next. So step 6, if you really kind of like the way a skill sounds, you're going to want to hear all the information about it. I'm going to swipe to my right.
Type, passive.
and I'm going to get the kind of type spell is. In this case, this is passive. I prefer passive. Passives are really great. Let's swipe to our right again.
Storm cost 0, SP cost 0, HP cost 0.
Okay, the cost of the spell. This is really important, and here's where I tend to lack a sense of adjustment or kind of like attention span, because I tend to ignore the cost of spells. And then often I'm in the middle of a battle and I'm wondering, why did I die? Or why am I out of SP? Well, you've got to pay attention to the cost of spells. Let's swipe to the right one more time.
Choose skill button.
And then we've got the choose skill again. Again, this is going to let you know everything about the spell, the type of spell, the cost of the spell, and whether you want to choose a spell or swipe to your right again.
Cancel button.
Cancel the spell. All right. So that's our second choice. Let's cancel again and go back out to the main
choose
choice.
Skill. Cancel button. Cancel button.
Let's go cancel.
Choose a power. Dim button. Heading.
All right. Let's look at all the powers again.
Choose one. Dim. Resisted anger button.
We checked out resisted anger.
Holy vision button.
We checked out holy.
Resisted holy vision button.
We checked out holy vision. Now let's check out the third power.
Essence drain button.
Essence drain. Now essence drain is slightly nerfed from the beta testing. I do believe it used to be a +4 for sucking up the enemy's highest stats. This is a great skill. This is a great thing to put on your bar. This really never hurts you, because whenever you can take a power from an enemy, that's a good thing. But let's check it out.
Essence drain button.
Let's double tap.
Essence drain description. A debuffing skill that drains the enemy's highest stat and buffs you with that stat by up to 3 points.
Alright. There's going to be your final caution of this particular tutorial. It says up to 3 points, so do not expect it to always give you 3 points. To me, I like to go by spells' exact words. It's a famous Brady Bunch episode called Exact Words. It's really a cute episode. But you've got to pay attention to things' exact words when it comes to spells. I often am misled by the fact that I haven't paid attention to a spell's exact words. In this case, I paid attention. It said up to, which means you might get 1, you might get 2, you might get 3. Also keep in mind, as I said with the cautions before, sometimes there are nerfs, sometimes there are buffs, sometimes there are adjustments. So always keep that in mind. Your build may not be the same week to week, month to month, year to year. Alright? Now, this is a great skill because you have your Drain Mage who can take the enemy's elemental highest stat, and then you can go in there and take the enemy's highest stat altogether. Between you and your Drain Mage, you can steal quite a bit of power from the enemy. Now remember, you are taking their power, so they don't get it. Now, you know, that's a great thing, and you only have to do it once because you can only do it once. So this is an excellent ability. Again, I don't know what I'm going to choose. You'll have to find out when you come back and hear me play the Cleric. We are currently on the Cleric Part 2. I think I dropped that episode very recently. But on the Cleric Part 3, I'll let you know exactly what I chose. I need to think about it because this is a hard decision. And you only get to make this choice once. Alright? So, that is how you use this really cool statue you find in the middle of the desert. Now this statue is located in the middle of the Invisible Mage. The Invisible Mage is going to be in the mini zone, which is, there's a first zone, which I call the trapdoor floors of the desert, and then right after that you get to the Invisible Mage. Excuse me, the Invisible Maze. The Invisible Maze is one of the only places in a dungeon where you can move right next to another lane of travel, and you can see through it, but you may not be able to pass through it because the walls are invisible or transparent. So it's a really fun dynamic. It's only appeared here in Core Quest. I do not believe it was apparent in Lost Island, or it was inside of Lost Island. No, I'm not sure. There could be an Invisible Mage somewhere deep inside of Lost Island. Don't quote me. But anyway, excuse me.
Storm cost 0. Choose skill button. Cancel button. Choose a power. Dim button.
Now to end this part, step 7, After you have selected the skill, the statue will become inert, and the skill will be added to your skill book. If you need to equip the skill, you're going to want to go to your skill book and adjust your skills. What I tend to do is put skills in an order that I'm going to use them in battle. I usually put my buffing skills in the bottom, and I put my attack skills at the top. It's up to you how you want to do it. Some people like to put their defensive buffs, their defensive buff skills together, and some people like to put their offensive buff skills together. It's really up to you. But that's going to be our mysterious statue in the desert. It's a great way to get free skills. It's a powerful way to build your characters, and it also gives you that uniqueness so that your character class combination works out the best you need it to work out. And that's going to be it for our tutorial. Please come back to Core Quest, how to play Core Quest in future episodes, where I'll also show you more of the different kind of ways you can play, different things and utilities you can use in the game so that you can have the most fun and you can play with the most power. But until then, folks, please keep liking, commenting, and subscribing, and then, of course, take care.